Like, it was just like so shocking at the beginning when you're in a coma and your eyes are open. He looks almost fine, but you could literally scream in his face and he wouldn't flinch, he wouldn't move. So I've spoken to people that have been in comas before, and they would say things like, I mean, once they came out of it and they were better years down the road, that I was always screaming at people, but nobody was ever listening to me. So whether they're like trapped in their body, it's just really bizarre. But with Josh, it was very slow and gradual, the waking up. And one of the best things was Care Meridian in Escondido. They have an amazing staff there. It's a small 10-bed facility. They did a great job with Josh.
So I keep coming back to it because I'm just in awe of your strength of coming through this. So I mean, I hate to embarrass you by throwing compliments and stuff, but it's really you know, so many people really faced with this type of accident, this type of tragedies, you know, people, doctors, hospital, insurance, everybody pushing back, and you to have the strength to say, no, we're going to do hyperbaric. No, you know, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to swing the club. I'm going to do whatever it takes to bring it.
Some people like, they can't, you know, express themselves.
They can't express themselves, right?
They can't stand up to those people, or they don't have the strength to follow their gut and tell a doctor no, or go find answers when you're not getting the answers.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? And so, do you think that's just innate in you? Do you think it was because of, you know,
Well,
did something?
Yeah, I think, I always question everything anyway.
Okay.
I'm not the most accepting, and especially when it comes to medicine and that kind of thing. I just think too many people just blindly do what the doctor tells them to do. Here, take, you know, this 20 milligram blood pressure pill, and then, you know, they're dizzy and they're fainting and they're still taking it every day.
Right.
Or they're on cholesterol medicine and all their bones ache, or that kind of thing. But with Josh, I did have my brother, who's very
Smart.
extremely intelligent.
Yeah.
He's the one that suggested the Oxygen Revolution, the book, to me, and hyperbaric oxygen therapy. So, and then we spoke to Bob Sands, who is the owner of San Diego Hyperbarics.
Bob Sands did a good job.
He did a good job. Yeah. He's a great guy. He is the most optimistic person in the world. He's like, Josh, he's from Australia, this is just a bump in the road, you know. He said, this is just a bump in the road. You're going to be fine by the end of the summer, you know. He's that kind of a guy. A little bit extreme, but he's a great guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I did have help I did go to a psychologist. That helped me a lot. Because what I wanted to hear from a professional was that this isn't it, that he's going to continue to get better, that he hasn't, like in the insurance world they call it plateaued. Oh, he's plateaued, therefore, because one day you're in your therapy and they just said, you know, by the way, this is Josh's last therapy, we're not going to, and I'll be like, what? And they said, because we feel that he's plateaued. So then you got to appeal that and fight for that, and you got to fight for all of your benefits. But and then we did a lot of things. We did acupuncture.
Yeah.
We did that right at the hospital.
Yeah.
So, looking back over the 4 years plus, now almost 5 years, is there anything that, you know, you go, wow, that, you know, where did that idea come from, or where did that,
It's
so like, you know, that didn't, you know, that doesn't seem like I could have done that, or that seems like, wow, I wish I would have had this. Is there anything where you kind of have an epiphany or looking back, an idea of what else could I have done, or any regrets, anything? Positive or negative about the last 4
I
years?
don't think I.
Hindsight being 20/20.
Right. I don't think I have any regrets about what I did.
Maybe you would have done differently. And regrets is, it's
Right.
tough from your perspective.
I mean, if Josh was like President Obama's child, I mean, he would have all the resources available to him 24/7, including Air Force One and everything else. I mean, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And he would have therapies all day long. I mean, but I think you have to draw the line. You have to live your own life too. And do you want to sell the farm, and and just dedicate 24 hours a day to your child? I mean, at the beginning it was like that, but then you come to a realization where this is a very serious brain injury, and it is going to take years. I mean, Josh used to perseverate on one thing, and that was, and this is kind of an interesting thing, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but Josh lost his dad when he was little.
10.
In 5th grade, and he was the type of kid that said, I don't want to go to a psychiatrist or a shrink or a therapist. I can handle it. I accept the fact that Dad died.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Well, I don't think he was really fine. I mean, Natalie and I went, but I couldn't force him to go. So then after the brain injury, he would say all day long, "Where's Dad? Where's Dad?" So on top of the brain injury, which is awful to begin with because they throw you out of the hospital before you're ready, or you can't even walk. And how am I going to get him up the stairs? So then I had a caregiver here for the first month. So all that was tough. But now I lost my train of thought. What
We were
was the
going back to,
question?
if you had 20/20, was there something that, and you were saying there came a point where you had to decide,
Right.
am I going to do this 24 hours a day or not?
Because you get exhausted. You're just so tired,
Right.
And then you have to
yeah?
watch. You just have to watch everything you do. With a brain injury, you have to watch everything you eat, everything you do. So I think I did the best I could. Let's put it that way. I just feel I looked at places to put Josh, and I just didn't feel comfortable with any of those places. Plus, they're extraordinarily expensive. Learning services is $10,000 a month.
Wow.
The Howard House is $5,000 a month, and it's a home in Escondido. And the range of injuries are just all over the board.
Right.
They're from people in wheelchairs that can't speak at all. It's just too nerve-wracking. So I decided that I would keep Josh here.
Well, you've done a great job. I mean,
Thanks.
really.
And hire teachers.
Josh probably done, so much work on his own, and you've done so much for him, and so many resources. I mean,
Thanks, Josh. I love you too.
Okay.
I love you when you sound asleep.
More.
Yeah.
More. Tell me more.
I mean,
A lot faster than I want to see.
what? The speech is, we're working on the speech.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's $100 an hour for a speech therapist. Your insurance only covers, like, maybe, I forgot what it is. There are X number of speech therapies and X number of physical therapy and X number. So when you have something like this, a catastrophic loss, it's expensive. And you have to kind of pick your battles. You know, as
It sounds like in all of
far as-
it, you've had to pick your battles.
Yeah, so it's do you want to just zone him out all day and have him zoned out all day? Or do you want to kind of let nature take its course and see? I mean, I'm fortunate that Josh, he's not violent, he's not throwing things, his personality hasn't really changed. If it's, he's happy. He's happy. Which is, when people have those smashings in the car, with their
Right.
frontal lobe and their personalities change. They get angry and they're throwing things and they're totally unmanageable.
I'm very happy.
You're very happy, which I'm thankful for. I'm very thankful. That's a blessing.
You should remind us.
So,
For us?
and there's a lot of opportunists out there too.
Mm.
People that just, oh, I can do this and I can do that.
Right.
And
Snake oil salesman.
That?
right, and you have to just decide, you just do your best. No, leave it in there, Joshy.
Okay.
This is your book.
So if you go back to the day, that you got the phone call, your son's in the hospital, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Can you kind of walk me through the mom thought process there?
Yeah.
Because as a dad, I know how I would have handled it, but
Yeah. Well,
or hope I would handle it.
I flew into Tucson because a couple of days before the injury, Josh had gotten a DUI. So you got a DUI.
Okay.
And Josh, before the injury, was really on a path of destruction. I will say this. He was taking, popping pills.
Sex.
Yeah, Xanax for some reason was his thing. And then booze combined with the Xanax.
Yeah.
And it was really,
Snotty.
it was awful.
I know.
It was awful because, and he told me this when he was in high school. Josh told me, he said, Mom, I like to drink to get drunk. He said, I like to drink to get drunk. So we'll blame Jerry for that. You have your father's genes on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to drink wine, and I like wine with food. I like to relax, but I like to be in control. But anyway, so Josh was really on the path of destruction, which was awful. It was not good at all, really. And he was gambling, and
So he got the DUI, and you had to
he got the DUI, and then
have a conversation with him, or
That's how this is, right?
what?
The dismissed, right?
Yes, we got the
Nice.
the DUI dismissed, only because you were in a coma,
Nice. So much, but
so you couldn't even
so
defend yourself. But where are we?
no, I opened with how did you get what did you do, what was thinking when you got the call, but you then opened with
The path
I mean
of
2
destruction.
days he was on a path of destruction, so you
Right.
started to
Right. So the day that I arrived in Tucson, he was supposed to pick me up at the airport. So he wasn't there. So I started calling his cell phone, and there was no answer.
all of this.
So I was kind of in a panic a little bit, wondering where he was. And then I got a call from Lori Lawrence, one of the parents, who said that Josh had overdosed. And that he was at University Medical Center in Tucson. So I went there. So what happened was
So you overdosed the day you flew in?
it was the evening
Yeah.
before March 28th. The early morning hours. So when I got to the hospital, I knew something was wrong immediately when the priest or the chancellor or whatever they call it, greeted me.
Wow.
And I went, oh no, my son's dead.
Come on. And
So-
do it.
So what happens is when there's an accident like that, they bring the person in and they just give them a Doe, whatever name comes up in the computer.
Right, John Doe.
So it was whatever it was, John Doe number 2578, whatever it was. So
What?
then he's in them. And it was just awful. So I waited in a room because the chancellor told me to wait while he found out what was happening. So it's not even like a waiting room. It was just awful. It just was agonizing, just waiting. And then the police came and they asked me some questions, and then I could see that the trauma team, they were all around Josh and they were trying to revive him. And then his whole, I could see like all his limbs shaking violently. And then they revived him, or got his heart to, apparently it was DOA, dead on arrival. And then they revived him, or got his heart going. And then they put him, hooked him up to all the machines, the breathing machine, the machine that makes your heart beat, all the fluids that your body needs that it's depleted of. They had 2 full-time nurses just like untangling all the wiring. I mean, it was a sight to see. It was just awful. This is a good picture. Here. Right. I just want to show this.
Right.
See here, that initially he has the mask on his face. Here he's clean shaven. This is probably a weekend. But he has the mask on his face. And then he has all kinds of machines that monitor the heart rate and the breathing machine, the tubes down the throat. And then, it's just horrible.
Yeah.
And they're telling you this organ's dying, that organ's dying, it doesn't look good, it doesn't look like he's going to make it.
Wow.
But he made it.
He did, and lucky for us.
No.
Lucky for you.
It's cheer and it's red. I'm happy.
You're happy.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're happy, Josh.
I don't know.
Glad